Good morning, morning, morning. What's up, my fellow 8FDL superstars? How's everybody doing this morning? Thought I'd share with you guys some random deep thoughts while I'm driving back from the beach from jogging. Trying to keep this on a regular. We have these deep random thoughts that I thought would serve you guys and might inspire you on a few things. So this is a beautiful, by the way, beautiful hillside of California, which is really nice, right out by the ocean, Laguna Beach. And I live out by Laguna Hills, which is like literally 15 minutes from the beach. We live on the hills because Ozzy likes the hills and I like the ocean, so we know who won that battle, right? Wives are always right. I'm learning that lesson. I just recently got married, so I'm working on creating 2 properties out here, one for her and one where we actually have a beachfront, but that's a whole nother story. We've got to transform a lot more lives to get to there, so I'm looking forward to doing that. Just a couple things for you guys, just some deep random thoughts that's been going on in my mind with everything we're doing. Right now I'm writing out a book. We've got a awesome thing that we're going to be sharing with you guys early November, mid-November, that's going to literally transform the world. Everybody in 8FDL will be a part of it. It's just absolutely huge. And just some of the evolutions of the things I'm discovering while I'm going through this. So I thought I'd share with you. What's up, Don G? Don G in the house. Chrissy's in the house. So here's just some of the takes that I took. And I'll share with you guys a little bit about my backstory. It's really hard to talk about these without talking about the backstory. And if I cut out for any reason, it always cuts out when I get to the top of this hill, the wonderful California mountains. I will be back in like 5 seconds, so I'll let you guys know. So here's the deal. My background was originally, I went to school, thought about getting a corporate education. That was always my background. In fact, when I was 16, we moved into the 9th most wealthiest high school in the nation. I mean, it was known for it. It was out in Plano, Texas. Funny thing is, we moved to the apartments right next door. All my friends had mansions and cars, BMWs, Mercedes at the age of 16. But my family really instilled this whole idea of being an education in me. And so they always made sure I made a good education, because the idea was, we came to this country, as long as I got a good education, we'd be able to make money. So we lived in the apartments right next door, so I had a great chance to be able to walk next door to the school. So that's pretty much what I did. I went through college, made good grades, kind of followed that philosophy. When I graduated college, I actually came out, I got hired by one of the largest telecoms in the world, and I got hired and fired within the same week, because it was actually right at 2001 when the market crashed. So that was the extent of my corporate career when I first started. They're like, hey, Alex, we just hired you with this thing just crashing, so we thought you'd be the first one to go. So what was really funny is I paid my way through school waiting tables, and it was my cousin's restaurant. And I threw this huge elaborate party to thank my customers for supporting me for 15 years. And, like, hey guys, thanks, I got the corporate job. I'm like super excited. And literally a week later, I was back there waiting tables. And I cannot stress to you how embarrassing that was. So needless to say, I had a huge motivation to want to be able to do something different. So what I decided to do is I started researching online. And at that time, this was like 2001, network marketing was just like sort of kind of premier in the industry, and I just love the idea, the concept of, wow, you could build something once and get paid on it over and over again. And at that time, there was a lot of stuff online. So I started researching. I found a guy who was actually my mentor in California, and really good guy. And basically, I love the concept. I started out in it. Took me a little while. Basically fell on my butt first 3-4 months. But I learned a lot through that skill. One of the biggest things I learned about network marketing, whether you like it or not, doesn't really matter. I just wanted to kind of share with you the lessons I had through the experience. One was win-win, like the concept that you could actually win and somebody else could win at the same time. Like up to that point, my corporate job always said, hey, look, you got to compete. I went to law school for a year, right? What's up, Gina? Good to see you. I went to law school for a year, and so law school was all about, hey, in fact, in law school, the only way that you got to stick around is if you were in the top 50%, which means you took a 3-hour test at the end of a semester, and that was the only test you took, and your job wasn't to write like the best paper. Your job was to write a better paper than half your class, so that way you can move on. So my whole entire life, I was kind of raised on competition. And then coming with personal development and network marketing, it's like, wait, I can win and somebody else can win too? What an awesome concept. And then I learned a ton of personal skills. I learned communication skills, how to sell, how to market. It was just amazing, the things that I got to learn that was never taught to me in school. And that's what network marketing taught me throughout that time. And I'm going to give you some of the lessons. I got a book coming out that will really go more into deep on this. You guys want to find out a little bit more about like the challenges and so forth. But throughout the extent of that time, the next thing that we learned was about investments. And I had read Rich Dad Poor Dad. That was the book that changed everything around for me back then. And I know a lot of you guys have read it. And the Quadrant, right? The cash flow quadrant. And so while I was going through network marketing, I read this book, and the idea of moving from the E category and the S to the I and B category was huge, right? So I was like, okay, so I need to be a business owner and investor. So I started out working with a commodities firm, and just very highly blessed. I started in 2006, and this was a time when gold had just gone up. Like, if you guys go back and look at 2006, gold was at 350. I started at a time when gold just spiked up 30-40%. So I hit the right market. I took the personal development skills that I learned in network marketing, because it was all about people. And one of the things I remember about personal development is we don't move products, we motivate, we inspire people. And that was the biggest part that I got. So I knew about the personalities. I started using that on the phones when I made calls. And I was so excited because I saw it as an opportunity to talk to people that actually were millionaires. I was 28, 30 years old at the time. And I was like, wow, I get to talk to millionaires, and these are the people that I want to emulate. And, you know, they're investing like, you know, 5 figures into an investment. So they obviously have some money. So I want to get to know these people. So I would make calls and I would make friends with them. Most people were just calling and they were prospecting the entire time. And I was really just getting to know them, and I would just get them to like me. That was my biggest thing. Just find something in common. All the stuff that I learned in network marketing was like, find something in common with them. So, and anything I could find. So this guy lived in California, and I lived in Dallas at the time. Oh my God, my mom lives in California. What's it like? I love the ocean. What's it like there? Like, so tell me about you. And I would really build up their egos. And I'd be like, so tell me how you did it. What, you know, how did you make it? Like, what was things? And of course, the way that I got it, and this is the way I saw it, the typical person I was talking to is 40 to 60 years old. And guys, believe me, these stories have a meaning. So if you guys are listening to, I'll give you the points to the lessons, but I got to tell you the stories, because you got to understand why and how we came up to this. What's up, Eric? And so I would really build up their ego, and the average person I would talk to was between 40 and 60 years old. They did investments, and so this is exactly what Robert Kiyosaki told me was the guys that, you know, I want to emulate. So they would just basically share their wealth of knowledge with me. They would tell me how they did it. A lot of them had a traditional business, and they did investments. They did oil and gas. They did real estate. And I became friends with them. And so it became a natural evolution that they wanted, excuse me, to invest, because I think the biggest reasons why they liked me was I reminded them of a younger version of themselves. I was 28. I was trying to make a name for myself. I was working harder than everybody else. I got him to laugh, I got him to like me, and we became really good friends, right? And so what happened was, when the market turned around in 2008, because I had built at that time about 200 clients, we took it into the investment world, and I started an investment network at the time because I built these relationships. So now you got to look at all the things that have stacked up, right? It started with network marketing. It started with a corporate job. That wasn't the answer. And with the network marketing, had success there. Then I transformed into the next evolution, which was investments. Learned about that in real estate and so forth. And then, so we started basically in 2008. There was something called factoring. If you guys don't know what factoring is, what happens is when the bank stopped loaning money out, there was a guy in our network who basically could loan out money to people who got their funding dried up, because they had these lines of credit with banks, but banks stopped loaning in 2008, as you guys are probably all well aware, when the market crashed. So what we did is we started an investment deal where we got to basically fund really good companies. And the idea was we were raising the funds. There was a partner on the back end that was former partner of KPMG, very reputable. And so we did that for a few years, and it was going really, really well. Well, one of my biggest learning lessons is, and in 2011 is exactly what Warren Buffett taught later, is like, no matter how much you trust someone, trust but verify. And that was one of the things that's led me to where I'm at today, which is you always want to trust, but you want to verify. So when he went off the reservation in 2011, we had a lot of challenges. I went basically from having a huge amount of net worth to having nothing and starting from scratch. I went through a divorce. It was a really hard time, essentially, that went through my life, right? And so part of that learning process that I went through was the challenges. There was a lot of challenges that I went. And the one thing that I shared this story with some of you guys was my attorney at the time was a really great guy when we were dealing with like a bunch of civil stuff at the time. He came back and basically said, look, there's two kinds of people that go through this. There's people that basically crawl under a rock and you never hear from them again. And there's people that basically transform and they become better from it, and they use their stories to inspire others. And I really used that story. I took that story to heart. And I went from like literally doing nothing to getting back on my feet again. And it wasn't easy, and it took a long time. It took over 6 months to a year through the process. But slowly yet surely, I got back on working out again, coming out of the cave, listening to Tony Robbins, just building it back up. And sometimes some of the hardest things to do is to be able to get back on your feet after getting knocked down so many times, right? Feel like you lost hope, feel like there's nothing there, and you want to say, well, you just want to give up, essentially, right? So the part of that was that kind of led to the next part, which I just started learning so much about investments. But I am telling you guys this right now, had I not gone through that, there's no way I would know about as much about investments as I know now, because of that huge challenge. Because I've never gotten my biggest learning lessons from my wins. It's never been my wins. My biggest learning lessons have come from the lessons where I've had to endure and go through something, and the tribulations that's made me, because there's something about the pain that you go through that makes the lessons stick, right? And that's why, what's up, Reese? So that's one of the biggest things that I've always gotten. So it's now literally a part of my process where if I go through something, because of what I've gone through in the past, it's no longer a pain. It's like a process, right? It's like, okay, I'm just going through this process. It's another part that I have to embrace in order to get the lesson that I'm supposed to get to this next level, right? So we went from that, obviously, to online. A lot of you guys know my online stint, but I had $500 in my checking account, went to a Tony Robbins course, and from there on, he said, hey, look, you got 1 foot in Dallas, 1 foot in California. You need to burn the ships and decide. I just met Ozzy. We moved out to California, moved in with my mom, and this is probably the rest of the story that you guys know, which is I got a place above my mom's. She had a condo, she had a room, which had no air conditioning, nothing, but I was in California, and I had a dream and a desk, and so I got involved with 2 partners in a private equity, got a job, which was great, paid 6 figures, but I was traveling all the time, and that's how I got into the online space, because it was the only market that I saw that allowed me to have a balanced life. I was making 100 grand a year in equity, which was great, but I was gaining weight. I never got to see Ozzy, which was one of the most important things. I had a fiance that I never saw, and as you guys know the story, the realization that I had was when my mom got sick, I was traveling to 3 different cities, and she's in the hospital, and I didn't even have a chance to be with her, and we didn't know how her health was going to be. So what ended up happening was I'm in New York, Miami, Dallas, basically everywhere that I need to be except next to her side, and making sure that, my relationships, the things that matter to me, were the priorities for my time as well. So a lot of that basically led to us starting the online space, and led to where we're at today, which is, going through the challenges. So what I want to share with you guys, part of that, so what's a lot of my lessons now? I'm going to give you my biggest lesson out of that. And throughout my entire life, the one thing I've learned in my humble, very humble experience as an entrepreneur, making multiple seven figures, losing it, making it again, losing it, making it again, and so forth, right? And now, I obviously, here's what it comes down to. There's no such thing as financial security whatsoever. Anybody that tells you that is like full of it. And I'll tell you how I define financial security. Financial security is like, let's say you own a bunch, and I'll give you the definition. Let's say I own 6 properties right now, right? And let's say the market turns around and all those properties disappear, right? And what I mean by that, phone calls keep coming on while I'm talking to you guys. Literally, if the market turns around, my properties disappear, or in my case, I dealt with civil litigation, my entire net worth disappeared, and I had to start from scratch. There's no security. There just isn't. In today's world, things change so fast, you just do not have that security, okay? So the question is a lot of us have been really working to believe that if I do all this, I'm gonna be secure, I'm gonna have a peace of mind, and I'm gonna be okay. And it just doesn't work that way, okay? And there's not a single entrepreneur that I've listened to on a podcast or a book I've read that says, once I did this, like now I felt like I was whole and made whole and I'm financially secure. So here's what I'm going to share with you guys. But there is something known as financial certainty. And here's the difference. Here's what financial certainty means. Financial certainty is exactly what I've gone through as I was describing this process to you guys. Is if I lose everything tomorrow and I have $0 in my bank account and I have no properties, I could literally make $10,000 in the next 7 days. And that is the difference between financial security and financial certainty. Financial certainty is, here's the definition, is learning the skill set that you need, that no matter what happens in life, no matter what happens, whether it's real estate, whether the job market, whatever happens, you guys know that you can get back on the horse again and be able to make the kind of income you need to make sure that you, your family, are taken care of, okay? And so that is the major difference that you guys are going to be able to see. And I just realized it's probably recording and it's going to show after I'm done. So always realize, the biggest thing for you guys to realize is that, you know, out of this humble experience of me and 2,000 books and 3,000 podcasts, actually 3,000 books and 2,000 podcasts that I've listened to right now, there's no such thing. Don't chase financial security because it doesn't exist. Always go for financial certainty, because that is what's going to give you what you're looking for. So how do you get financial certainty? There's only one deep route to getting to financial certainty, and that's to have a transformation. That transformation is exactly what Tony Robbins talks about. That's what a lot of, if you've seen people go through courses, through events, all these things, the reason why is because they're going through a transformation. Right now, a lot of you guys are going through a transformation. You're going through, oh my God, I got to learn how to online market. How does this Scipio thing work? How does this texting? I market a little bit. I haven't maybe gotten results right away. There's a transformation in the process that you're going. The biggest thing that I want to share with you is don't judge it based on results. Ask yourself, what am I learning? What is the process I'm going through? What is the transformation? Because the key, the thing that you're chasing is financial certainty, okay? It's not security. Once you get financial certainty and you learn that this is a skill set, and you learn that skill set, guys, you never have to worry about money again, and you can take care of your families, okay? So I want to share that with you because that's been one of the biggest realizations. I've been writing my book, and I just remember this huge fallacy that I had too. Is when I was, at that time, when I started my corporate job, I always thought like, wow, I'm going to get this job, and I'm going to make $45,000 a year, and I'm going to have these corporate stocks, and I'm going to be okay because like that's going to take care of me. And when I have this is going to happen. There's no such thing in today's world, especially in today's world. And that was back in 2001. In today's world, things change so fast that the biggest thing you can learn, and the reason why I love the online business, because it's the one thing that you can really get up to being able to make money once you learn it, and you can have it all. You don't have to just work or spend time with family. You can actually have it all. You can be a good father and a good husband and do all the things that you're wanting to be, a good wife and a good mother, and still be able to spend time with the people that you love. So I just wanted to share that with you. I hope it inspires you. I hope it gets you guys to take action and then to change your frame of mind to what's happening. If you guys think this is good, wait till you see what we announce, because what I'm teaching on here is exactly what we're going to be teaching on one of our first courses that's going to come out that everyone's going to get access to. So I'm really, really excited. I just wanted to share that with you guys because I thought it was so valuable that it might inspire you guys to basically get the shift you need in order to take action and do the things that you want to get to where you guys are able to have the success that you're looking for. Okay. With that said, hope you guys are having a great Friday. God bless you guys. Hope you enjoyed this drive through Southern California as well. I'm gonna go in and start creating for my day. Love you guys. God bless you. Bye.